I'm at channel, welcome. Today we are getting text messages. Oh, welcome to the channel. I'm out channel, welcome. Today we are testing out our saw blades. I've got 4 different packs here, all different brands, so I thought what a good opportunity to actually use them one by one, and then we can test out which are the most longer lasting, which are best for cornering, which wear out quickest, which are most brittle, just all the things that you want to know when you're buying saw blades. So I've got these 4 packs here. Vallorbe, Cookson's own brand. These are old, I've had these years and the packet's still brand new. J.schmalz. And Super Q. God damn it, leave me alone. Right, and we will get into it. As soon as I said thank you to these patrons, we got John Hawkins, Blueberry Bunny, and Greg McAvoy. Thank you very much, guys. Really appreciate your contribution, and it really does help me continue the videos, and it encourages me to do more as well. So after like 25 years now, I've been making jewellery. I've learned a lot, and I want to share it and just put it out there and make the information available easily online, just to help other people, get them started, and encourage them to work harder as well, or gain more skill. I mean, but it does appear that things you learn in like high-end sort of jewellery workshops are not really available easily. So that's the point of this channel. And if you want to know how good a jeweller I am, let me just show you something. This is today's newspaper here in Japan. There's me! I got interviewed. So yeah, they got all my information wrong, my age and the amount of time of making jewellery and stuff, but basically it's there. Just when you're the only white guy in like in a whole city, you end up getting interviewed and people want to know about what you're doing and your work and stuff and why you're here. Anyway, right, let's get into this. Okay, I've decided to list the 4 different types of saw blade, and we'll judge them, give them a score like out of 5 or 10 maybe. Cutting, longevity, turning, like how do they feel different actually turning on the spot? You've got to change direction. Brittleness, not sure if that's a word, like how easily do they break. And skimming, what I mean by skimming is, say I've got this daylight hole in there, if there's a bit of a wobble in the line or I want to open it up a little bit more, I'll thread the saw blade through and just skim it on the side just to kind of go up and down. It's almost like filing, so using the kind of very edge of the saw blade. So it's a technique I use often, it's very useful. Right, this pack is open, so I'll start with these. No particular reason other than that. These are Vallorbe. I'll start a fresh set just so you can be confident I'm using what I'm saying I'm using. A bit of silver plate. I'm going to be doing all my cutting and testing on here. I'm just going to draw some lines for me to cut along. I've just got some lines to follow there. Right, let's get going. This is Vallorbe. So first we're testing it on cutting. So I'm just going to go along this straight line, see if I start to notice it wearing out or if I feel like it's, I don't know, I'll just talk about what's on my mind as I do it. This is Vallorbe. These are well known, quite a good one. Some saw blades, yeah, they want to pull one way or the other. I don't know why, just the way they're cut. They're not all perfect. They're not all really well behaved. This one is doing it a little bit. You end up having to tilt the blade one way slightly to get it to go forward. I'm having to turn this blade. My arm's getting tired. Feels like it could do with a little bit of extra beeswax now. Alright, well, we got to the end with no sign of any kind of bluntness happening. Let's have a quick close look at my loop. That still looks really, really sharp. So I won't keep cutting and cutting until it goes blunt, that'll just be a weird video. But it's done a good job cutting off that length, no problem at all. So as I would expect, this is a good brand. And I think these are usually the most expensive ones. So I did that really good. So once more. There you go. I mean, did that really well. I would say it's a good saw blade. Next test, skimming. I just thread my saw blade through this collet. I've got no idea why this collet exists. I don't know why I made it, don't know what it was for. It certainly didn't get used, it was just in my box of scrap bits. Right, so let me give this a go. It's got, I mean, partly it's technique, but it's just got a nice bit of resistance. I can really feel the metal through it. So I can do this with a lot of control. So although skimming does take the metal away slowly, you can still make a mistake. You can put little wobbles in it. This saw blade feels very friendly for doing this. Just sort of doing the top and bottom, changing the angle a little bit. Oh, it just feels really good. This is what I would want. This is what I would want a saw blade to feel like and behave like when doing this kind of work. Okay, Vallorbe is doing very well so far. Oh my god, that was really good. That bent past 90 degrees. That was the section with no teeth on. Let's try a teethy bit. Really, this should be a bit weaker. Can you see that? That was about 90 degrees. It snapped off. And yeah, definitely snapped easier. Makes sense. Snapped easier where the teeth were compared to the end. But that was good. A 90-degree bend. I had to push on it quite hard as well. That was good for a saw blade. What's the score? I was going to give it. Okay. Okay, next we are trying the German Super Q. And looking at the back, these were 2.0. And I remember buying these and being disappointed because I wanted some thicker saw blades than these. And these are 3.0. And they're literally thinner. So I didn't really like these just for that. So there's a cat at the door. So a bit darker in colour. Let's have a look with a loop. They don't look as nicely made as the Vallorbes. Oh my god, they're horrible. Some of the teeth are like shorter than the rest. Yeah, that tooth's weird. That one's a bit hooky. That one's like bent over. Yeah, not looking good for these. So anyway, let's try them out. Okay, straight away it doesn't feel like it's cutting as quickly as the Vallorbe. I mean, I'm not joking, it literally feels like it's going blunt already. You notice the sound difference? It just feels all like scratchy and horrible. It makes a horrible sound as well. It's not really cutting anymore. This is so bad. Well done, you made it. Jesus, that felt like hard work. That was nowhere near as enjoyable. They look blunt now. Can't believe how bad that was. I mean, it did it alright, but it just felt scratchy and horrible. The Vallorbe seemed to cut the metal nicer, so it was less troublesome actually turning it. Alright, let's give it some scores. Okay, skimming, let's thread on this collet. I mean, it's doing it, but it doesn't feel like it's doing a lot. The Vallorbe was felt smooth, but it also was cutting a bit better. Okay, right. It's not doing it very well. I'm going to put a new one in just to give it the benefit of the doubt. I never knew that about saw blades before. You can just 10 times loop them and you can actually see the difference of quality. Never really paid that much attention to them before. Okay, that feels much better. How long will it last though? Okay, it's just the fact that the other one wasn't sharp. Though, nah, not feeling it. If you had to do a lot of that, that'll be tiresome using a saw blade. Right, score down, skim in. Okay, final test, brittleness. So I'm just gonna put it in my parallel pliers and give it a push. Oh, a little bit less than 90 degrees and it snapped. And when it snapped, there was like, you know, like the other one pinged off. This one just snapped like with no drama. Let me try again on the teethy bit. That's like 45 degrees. Next up, we're going for Cookson's own brand saw blades. It says made in Germany. I don't know how much Cookson's actually have to do with the production of these. Let's try them out. I never tried these before, so interested in these. They were a bit cheaper than the others, that's why I bought them. I bought them with the idea of doing this video, so let's see how good they are. Whether you really do save money buying cheap ones, or it's a kind of false economy. Okay, Cookson's, what you got? First impressions, it's not cutting very fast. It's got a horrible noise, scratchy feel to it, same as those Super Qs. It's more tiresome than the other saw blades. Alright, made it. Let's have a quick look. Yeah, they still look pretty good condition. They just don't work very well. Okay, turning, let's have a... There we go. I'm going to put a new one in. I've got a feeling it's just blunted and makes it not work very well. Yeah, cuts a bit better. It's not bad. It cuts turning right better than it cuts turning left. I don't know if that's it's so much easier turning 90 degrees to the right. That might mean it's cut a little bit wrong. Alright, this skimming technique, I've used like opening up the holes in like daylit holes in a collet as an example of using this technique, but it is actually the same thing when you're opening up back holes. You're doing like square back holes on your pieces. It's the same thing. And I can't believe this channel is like 2 years old now, and I haven't done any videos on doing back holes. I need to get on that. Yeah, this actually feels nice, but doesn't cut much. And this was that new blade. I only did a couple of little cuts in there. It's got a nice feel, but it hasn't got much ability to cut. Okay, right, that's all I need to know. Alright, let's check its brittleness. And I googled the word brittleness. It does appear to be a real word. I wasn't sure if I made it up or not. Right, cat. I've got a cat here, so I'm going to bend it towards the camera this time, so I don't kill my cat with a flying bit of saw blade. See that? Okay, that's flexing quite easily. Whoa! Didn't push with any pressure at all, really, and it snapped before 45 degrees. Let's break it on a bit where there's teeth. God, it feels really weak. Yeah, oh my god, come on. Pathetic. Cooksons, come on. Okay, next we've got J.schmalz. First class quality, made in Switzerland. Ooh! Extra strong round back. These are 6.0, so these are the thinnest ones. I need to kind of consider that when I'm doing my tests on them. So I mentioned before, these are really old. I'll tell you how old they are. In 1999, I went off to Canada to represent Great Britain in a apprentice jeweller competition. After winning all the competitions that led me to being the person representing Great Britain, they gave me like a toolbox full of tools, and I've still got loads of them here. Yeah, part of those tools was just loads of packs of these, so that's how old they are. Unfortunately, they're only like really thin ones they gave me. So these are cut 6. Tell you what, they feel nice in my hands, so that's a good sign. Just my intuition, my experience as a jeweller handling these saw blades for many years. They feel quite nice, and under magnification they look like they're cut really nicely. So just to talk quickly about feel, like when you're working with your hands, like any kind of artist will understand this, like when you're working with your hands, you develop subconsciously a kind of a sort of recognition of touch. I've got it with a saw blade. It's got a kind of, it just feels smooth and nice. There's something quality about it. Before I've even tested it, I know it might be quite good. An example of it is, like, say I owed you a tenner, $10, £10, whatever. If I handed you a note and it wasn't a real note, you might instantly notice that there's something wrong with it. You might have trusted me fully. You weren't testing it. You weren't really checking if it was real or not, but you touched it and it felt different than normal, and you knew. So it's a bit like that. I'll give you another example. I went to a pottery class, you know, the spinning pots. First time ever in my life. And my wife was with me because the guy is Japanese, so she had to sort of translate what I need to do and stuff. And she said I was quite a skillful jeweller, and he was just like, right, whatever. But when I touched it, he was like, like first time ever, like within like a second. As soon as I touched it, he could see just the way I put my hands on it, the way I sort of was touching. I was going by feel more than just looking and pushing and seeing what happens. And he said, like literally within seconds of me doing it for the first time in my life, he's like, like he recognised. He told my wife he recognised I'm skillful with my hands. It's something. Right, let me get on with this. All right, unfortunately, the only ones I've got are 6.0, so they're a really thin blade compared to the other ones I've been testing. But I will judge it accordingly with its like cutting ability and cornering and stuff. The thinner ones obviously are a bit more brittle. Feels nice. I actually reckon it's cutting faster than that Cookson's one, and that's a 2.0. A 6 is not really a good choice for doing this kind of cutting. Snapped it. First one to snap, however, is by a long way the thinnest one I've used so far. So let's just finish this off. Oh, this one's turning. Do you know what, that turning thing, like what happened with the first Vallorbe I tried, is more common on thinner blades. This one's doing it quite bad. This one's doing it really bad. Right, I'll give you an example. Let me show you how bad it is. So as that other blade broke, I may as well just muck about a bit. So I'm going to hold the saw frame straight, as though I'm going to cut straight along that line, see what the blade actually does. Where are you going, mate? Wow, that's bad. I've never actually... I've never actually let one do what it wants before. Look at it. I forgive that blade for breaking. Being a cut 6 and just cutting a straight long line and pushing hard trying to cut fast is not friendly to the blade at all, so I forgive it for that. Right, what we're doing, we are pulling that off and cornering. This is a brand new blade and it's cut 6, so corners like a Jack Russell. So its ability to turn is greater than the other saw blades, but there's still a lot of feel involved. And it seems to go one way and the other way the same. Yeah, really good. I'm sure if this blade was thicker, like cut 2.0, it would still be really good. Yeah, it's a good blade, really. Again, it's not going to cut as severely as the other ones, but a lot of it is feel and how that feel changes when I push harder or change the angle slightly, because I can tilt the blade a little bit more one way or the other. So there's quite a lot going on. It's not just skimming left and right. Feels nice. Actually doing quite a lot as well. This blade's really good. Yeah, this is a good blade. I like this, especially when you tilt it. You just want to push it that way a little bit, which you should anyway, because you don't want to be cutting the side, the back of the. You don't want to be cutting that side accidentally. So there's always a little bit of tilting it up. Yeah, I'm sure this blade's really good. All right, brittleness. I'll tell you what, I'm pushing harder on that than I was on that Cookson's one. It's brilliant. Snapped it around the 90 degrees again. I don't know if it's more likely to bend more because it's thinner, or should be more likely to snap sooner because it's thinner. Nah, it's a good blade, mate. I'm sure there's a little bit of just using my judgment based on the different thicknesses and my experience of them. I'm sure that's good. So we've tested all 4 brands on their cutting, longevity, turning, cornering, their brittleness and skimming abilities. All the things that you use a jeweler's saw blade for. There's a lot of noise outside. You wouldn't get that in England. So, yeah, tested all 4 brands and all these. Let's go for the results. In last place, Super Q. Not only do they look horrible when you look at them through a 10 times loop, they feel horrible, they sound horrible, they do all of the things that a jeweler's saw blade should do quite badly. So, a well-deserved last place for Super Qs. Although I do like the label design. That actually looks nice. Well done, Super Q, on your label design, but as a saw blade, not very good. Third place, we got Cookson's. Cookson's, a very budgety looking design. Yeah, they were all right. They're okay if you're like beginning making jewellery. They do their job all right, but cutting, they had that horrible scratchy sort of feel and sound as well when using them. Longevity, it was going blunt before I even got to the end of that straight section. Turning, it's doing weird things with the turning. Was it Cookson's one was like turning, it was turning right nicely, but turning left, it was really difficult. So it was like the way it's cut or something, I don't know, horrible. Brittleness, snapped really easily, hardly any pressure it took on my finger to get it to bend over and snap. Skimming, again, it sort of worked all right, but the feel was a bit meh. So, yeah, third place for Cookson's. third place. Da-da! Colibri Swiss-made ones. I was talking about how my initial impressions of them were they were nice quality. They're nice to hold. When you loop them, they look cut really well, nice and sharp. Unfortunately, it was a thinner blade than the other ones I was testing. But considering that, I think I scored them fairly. Cutting worked really well. I did snap the blade, but it's because it's a thinner blade, and when you try to work fast and push hard, it can happen. Longevity, it's kept its sharpness really well. Turning, not just the fact that there's a thinner blade. I was sort of judging it on how it feels turning. It was going left and right equally. Felt really nice. I felt like I had good control. It was all capable of what I was. It was like enabling me to work to my best ability. So it wasn't holding me back at all. Wasn't having to fight against it being weird when I was trying to turn corners. So good saw blade for cornering and skimming as well. A lot of feel and cutting ability, better than these two, even though a much thinner blade. So really good saw blade, Swiss-made one. And in first place, Vallorbe. These are probably the most well-known ones. Every jeweller I've known has always liked these over other ones, and it makes perfect sense. Now that I've tested them, like back to back compared with the other ones, by far the superior saw blade. Looks nice, feels nice, does everything really well. Just scraped into 7, almost gave it an 8, but I was like, not quite. So yeah, well-deserved first place. If you are any kind of skillful jeweller, I'd recommend these, because the other ones might hold you back a bit. Like, they do weird things, like they feel horrible, sound horrible, they keep going blunt. They're going to hold you back a bit. These ones, being the best, will enable you to work to your best abilities. So if you're a bit skillful, you want to make something really well, it makes sense to pay a bit more and get the best. So there you go, I hope you enjoyed it. That was quite fun for me to make that video, and I had no idea how much they differ. Different brands will behave differently. I normally just use whatever's in there and I just work with what it does. But yeah, by far the most superior is Vallorbe, and little fish on there if you want to cut a fish in half. Also the best saw blade, I guess. But I do want to mention one thing. These 4 packs, 2 of them are German, 2 of them are Swiss. Both the Swiss ones wandered offline. I was having to turn my saw frame to get it to cut in straight. It happens sometimes, but it's a little bit interesting how the Swiss ones, although overall they're the best performing ones, both of them did turn off a little bit. So maybe it's more common with Swiss ones than German ones. So that's a little bit interesting. And also wanted to say, if you're a beginner jeweller starting out, it takes a little bit of practice to use these saw blades. They're so thin. It's a little bit of experience on knowing how to hold the frame, how to use the motion, how much pressure before you're twisting and turning and stuff. You need to sort of learn a lot through experience before you stop breaking them all the time. So if you're new, you're going to be breaking these a lot, so just get the cheap ones. They kind of do their job okay if you're a beginner, but also the other end of that, if you're a bit skillful, you may as well pay a bit more and get the best. I don't know whether they do work out more expensive, because they last longer, they cut better, stay sharp longer, you're less likely to break them. So the cheap brittle ones that go blunt might end up spending more money on saw blades in the long run. I don't know. So anyway, things to consider when you're choosing your saw blades. So thanks for watching. If you appreciate the content, click like and subscribe. If you want to take it a step further and support me and enable me to do more videos, you can become a patron. There's links in the description. Become a patron. You can go to the Patreon website and find out about all the benefits of becoming a Diamond Mount patron. And if not, just watch and enjoy. That's fine. And see you on the next video. Bye.